Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Let's go ahead and get into this February wrap up. Alright guys, I apologize in advance. I flew a little bit too close to the sun in the month of February and your girl is sick. I wanted to avoid having to film while I sound like this, but onwards and upwards. We gotta do what we gotta do. So bear with me. I normally do not sound like this. If you're new here, hi, hello. All right, guys, so I did a February TBR list. My goal was to read all Black authors for the month of February, and I did accomplish that. I had a pretty aggressive goal of reading like 1 million books. I'm gonna go ahead and just spoil this video for you right now. I did not get to all of the books. So let's start out with the ones that I did not get to. I did not get to Payback as a Mother by Wahida Clark, but as you can tell from the bookmark, I literally started this March 1st. Today is March 2nd, so I've already started this. So this will definitely be a part of our March wrap up. I also did not get to Strummed by Aisha Bree. I did not have time. I forgot it. I knew it was a short month, but it was really short, okay? So, and with me being sick, my reading slowed down drastically because I was just literally coming home and going to sleep. I did not get to Made to Love by Alexandria House, although she is a tiny one, didn't get to her. And then I didn't get to Sing Me to Sleep by Gabrielle Burton. Do not click out of this video. I made some changes because I'm a mood reader. So it wasn't that I just couldn't get to this complete number of books. I just did some switch arounds and some replacements for what I was in the mood for, if that makes sense, okay? Some I just didn't get to, some I made replacements for, all right? All right, let's dive right into the first book, which is The Color Purple by Alice Walker. I enjoyed this book. I did. This would be considered just literary fiction or woman's fiction. This book follows Celie. She is living with her father and her sister in the Deep South during segregation, and she gets married off to an older man, and that's just the gist of it. If you've seen the movie, the book is very similar to the movie, except for you get a bigger look at what life was like for Nettie, her sister, and you also get more details into Celie's relationship with her sister, her relationship with Suge, and even her relationship with her husband, Albert. So it's just a lot more details that the movie left out. Also, how can I say this without being a spoiler? This is a banned book, and it's banned, I believe, now I don't know, but I believe it is banned because there are a lot of sensitive topics in here, being, you know, involving children, and also just involving like abuse. So I think that's why this book is banned, because of the sensitive topics. But I can tell you that it's not as graphic as you would think that it is. It's not glazed over either, but it wasn't like painful to read or anything. No more so than it was. The movie may have even been harder to watch than it was to read the book. So yeah, I highly do recommend this book. I do have to let you know that everything is in letter form. It's Celie either writing to God or writing to Nettie. Yeah, so it's all letter form, and it does slow down a little bit when you're going through or moving through the life of Nettie in Africa, but to me it was very interesting just to see like everything that Nettie went through, because the movie kind of depicts it as she went off, you know, saw the whole world, raised, I won't even tell you the whole story because some of y'all have really never seen the movie, but yeah, it's just depicted different in the book. It's always good to read the book of a movie that you like or a movie that you've seen. So again, I'm gonna highly recommend this book. I rated this book 4 stars. I would never give a spice rating on a book like this. I'm just gonna say, you know, there are some triggering aspects in here if you are a sensitive person. I did experience the audible in this book, and like Waiting to Excel, it's a single point of view audible read by the actual author, but in my opinion this fits because she is speaking the way you would picture Celie to speak, and it's all letters from Celie, so it kind of goes with how the book is. So I did get the audible from the library. There were some plot holes in here and some unnecessary details. I can't even tell you what the plot holes are because they're facts that were not in the movie. Like certain people had kids and it's like, okay, wait, where's these kids? Or certain people was just, it was a good amount of plot holes actually, which I think is why some things were cut out for the movie. But all in all, 4 stars. We read up one of our banned books for the year. Okay, the next book that I read was Rhythms Blues. This is by Kimberly Brown. This book was actually very interesting. This would be considered more like contemporary romance. And I just delved right in. So basically this story follows Rhythm, who is actually dating this rapper. They grew up in Virginia, went to high school together, met as they became adults. His career took off. They decided to move to Los Angeles. She opened up a business. She's doing her thing. He's doing his thing. He's starting to move funny. And she's like, ho, Colonel Sanders. Like,
ho, Colonel Sanders, hold on. Now, excuse me. Oversized ego eclipsing his talent.
What's going on? So, like I said, when I described what this book was about, you're basically going through with her while she has to make some tough decisions. She does actually end up meeting someone. That is the main male character that you meet. This was a very cute, very fun read. I love the circumstances of how they met, the circumstances of the relationship. There was a lot of growth with the characters, and just like some secrets that kind of, you know, rolled out of this whole storyline. So I do highly recommend this book. This is my first book from the author, and I rated this one a 5 star. So this is a good like refresher, especially if you are in between, like going from like a fantasy to like romance or thriller or something like this. This is a good segue. In my opinion, this is also a good segue into urban fiction. This is contemporary romance, but it straddles close enough to where you can read this and then you can go into urban fiction and be like, oh, okay, like I feel like this would be like a gateway book to maybe a person that's not Black reading an actual romance that is the essence of Black romance without being watered down. It is very much contemporary while yet still very much being very Black forward. I hope that's coming across, because I know you guys, we have authors like Kennedy Ryan, and Kennedy Ryan is also very contemporary, but it's nowhere near urban. It's just contemporary. This is more so contemporary, leaning closer to urban, in my opinion. So I believe that if you read contemporary, you will like this book. If you read urban fiction, you will like this book. It is like the perfect middle ground for people who like to read both, or who want to kind of tippy toe between the genres, because they are very closely aligned. Okay, so that is this book. Like I said, I absolutely love this cover. One thing I am going to be happy to start to see all authors do, because I'm starting to see a trend of it, is actually putting the cover designer in the credits. That way you can kind of see, I don't know, maybe no one else is interested in it, but I like trying to guess who I think did the cover art, and I have a couple of guesses on this one, but yeah, so definitely pick this up. I think we need a round of applause, guys. We need a round of applause because I was finally able to read Feelings for You by Siobhan Latrice, okay? This baby is a thickie. I want to say this might be, it's hard for me to tell because I actually have Marriage Favor in a paperback. I want to say this is thicker than Marriage Favor. I want to say Simone's story had a lot of depth to it, okay? It had a depth to it. So basically this story follows Simone Compton. He is one of the Compton brothers in the Crenshaw King series. Simone is a professional basketball player, and he meets a woman in another book. He's at another brother's party, meets this chick, and he's like, So all his usual normal things are not working for her, okay? And I have to say, out of every female character I have ever read, Yolani is my favorite, okay? It's not necessarily her words, it was like who she was as a person, because she was very much guarded, rightfully so, because we get backstory into her past. But there's a difference between being guarded and being toxic. And I feel like she rode the fence perfectly. Like, she was like, I know what you do. You ain't finna do it to me. And you need to come correct. But she also knew how to be vulnerable and not just let a good thing pass her by, you know? Like, she was apprehensive but still willing to like try to figure it out. And I just thought that she was very strong, very independent, yet also very womanly. Very, you know how they say women, or black women, are always strong and they can do everything for themselves. And she was very much strong and could do everything for herself, but wanted to be able to not, which is how a lot of women feel. And she embodied that. Now, Simone, now y'all know I love me some LaQuay. I done said that a couple of times. But Simone had me like, okay. He was giving. And I'm giving tuberculosis. He was definitely giving bae. And I loved his growth of his character. This book had me literally crying, laughing, like literally tears coming down my face, laughing at some of these lines. The Audible, hilarious. Like, the jokes are funny in the book, but the jokes hit that much harder in the Audible because the narrator made a point to like emphasize where he needed to emphasize, and it was just all fun, good time. And your girl finished this out one day before the end of the month, okay? Because I took my good time. Like I said, I got sick, so this was kind of like my comfort book when I wasn't feeling good. And it was like I was listening to it on Audible. Audible really saves your girl while she was down and out, okay? And so I can't speak more highly for this book. I gave it 5 stars. Yeah, so definitely check out Feelings for You. Like I said, it was hilarious. It was drama-packed. It had a lot going on. It was a beautiful love story. It was a lot of growth. It was just hit out the park for me, you know. I am in love with this series, and I only have 3 more books in it, but these are interconnected standalones, meaning you can read this book and not read the others. I wouldn't do that because they are interconnected, meaning they'll mention people here who you won't necessarily have the backstory on, and having the backstory makes it all that much funnier or fun or cozy. I love the found family. I love the friendships. All of that, okay? It's not a thickie just to be a thickie. It's a developed story. It's a well-developed story. So enough ranting and raving about that. The next book, never said I was going to read, but I was in the mood to do a genre shift. So I picked up My Sister, the Serial Killer. Now this was, Lord help me, this was labeled as a thriller, a comedic thriller. And I'm like, and it is written by a beautiful Nigerian woman. And I said, you know what? This has been in my Amazon cart for a minute, at least a year. So yeah, guys, I really want to read this book. Went to Barnes & Noble the first time to get it. They didn't have it. I doubled back, got the book from Barnes & Noble. And this is classified as a thriller or comedic thriller. I would mainly classify this as like fiction or crime fiction, and I wouldn't necessarily say that it is funny. Like, I think when they say funny, they mean that it's a little bit more lighthearted and not as graphic as you think that it would be. Like, have you ever seen the movie Serial Mom? How it's like, not the actual graphic scenes, but how it's kind of like made light of the fact of like just how crazy she is. That's more so how this is. So basically, I had the book all wrong, okay? All wrong. Basically, what it's about is this lady has a younger sister. She feels that she always has to protect, always has to take care of. She's responsible for her. She's had 3 boyfriends that she has killed. And now she's interested in a doctor that her older sister actually has like been secretly in love with this whole time. So now she's like, how far do I take this? Do I continue to protect you even when now it's a potential that you're gonna get with my little boo thing and probably kill him too? So that's that's what this is about. This actually was a very unique storyline and a unique read for me. It's very well written. I like the way she writes. I freaking love the Audible. The Audible was everything. I like how the narrator was able to talk with a Nigerian accent, but then also not. So it was like she was able to embody every single character in this book. And it was, I mean, snaps to her. The chapters are really short, like literally like on some Frida McFadden, like some chapters are literally 4 pages. And so it's a quick, fast read. It kept me interested the whole time. It's one of those books where you're just like, okay, what's your end game? Like, what's gonna happen here? Like, what's going on? All right, so I actually rated this, I want to say 4.79. Let me see. Okay, 3.79. A 4, between a 3.79 and a 4. I was not sure what to expect with this book. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I think if you're not too bogged down by genre and you're just reading to read, then you will get more out of this book. But trying to make it fit into a thriller mold, then you would end up downgrading the book for its lack of being a thriller. If you want to consider it suspense, that'll work. But if you just go into it as you're just reading a fiction book, in my opinion, in that case, it's a good read. I highly recommend it. I'm definitely going to pick up more from this author. And I just love this cover. So yeah, make sure you check out My Sister the Serial Killer. I meant to actually look up the actual pronunciation of her name, but I think it's Oyinkan Breathwaye. That's how I think it's pronounced. And there's no disrespect meant if I slaughtered that name. I did my best. I meant to look it up, but my cold brain did not allow me to do that. But all right, guys, that is all I have for you. Your girl only got to 4 books, okay? Only got to 4 books this month. But if you haven't already, make sure that you check out my other book videos. I actually have a book haul book coming out very soon of all the books that I got for in the month of, well, not all the books I got in the month of February, actually. I had to split it into 2 separate videos, but I have a video coming out soon with all the books that I purchased, any recommendations. So comment down below if there's any particular videos that you would like to see from me. Also comment down below if you've read any of these books, which ones were your favorites, which ones were not your favorites. And as always, all the books that I've talked about will be linked down below. So if this nasaliness, if you stuck with this nasaliness this whole way, thank you so much. Go ahead and hit that like button. Leave me a comment and let me know that you stuck to the end so I don't feel so bad. All right. Okay. Fight power.
That's how we follow. That's how we follow. That's how we follow. That's how we follow. That's how we follow.